We'll now call the Plan Commission of the City of Oak Creek. Plan Commission meeting, March 25th, 2025 to order. Roll call, please.
Bouch here.
Sullivan here.
Gavich here.
Guzikowski here.
Oldani here.
Seifert here.
Chandler here.
And approval of minutes of March 11th, 2025. If everybody take a moment, take a look. And you are satisfied, there's no errors, omissions, corrections, or discussion. Motion.
Seifert moves to approve the minutes of March 11th, 2025.
Guzikowski will second.
Roll call.
Bouch aye.
Sullivan abstains.
Gavich, aye.
Guzikowski, aye.
Oldani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Thank you. First order of business is to review site and architectural reviews. This is for the construction of a sound-absorbing barrier wall system at MG Foods. This is an existing business at 10303 South Parkview Parkway. Submitted by David Bever, Bryan Property Management. Todd.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this property that's in the Oakview Industrial Park on Oakwood and Oakview Parkway, they are proposing to add a sound-absorbing wall system around the existing chiller compressors, and this is an attempt to mitigate the sound that is coming from those units. And they would be those compressors are on the west facade or side of the building in the near the loading area. As you see from the site plan, they intend on building the wall structure around three sides of that. The wall is to be white in color, steel exterior, and then it's filled with fiberglass to absorb the sound. It's 12 feet tall and fire resistant. And so you can see this is an example of what the wall will look like from another site. And I have a photo here of kind of the view, if you would, from the west and north. As to, you can see there's a berm and some plantings there that would block the view of it. If any other questions, otherwise I have a suggested motion.
Great. Thank you, Todd. Is the applicant with us? Would you like to say a few words, or you want to wait on questions, sir? Okay. Let's start off. I'm going to start to my left with Steve.
No questions.
Matt?
I have no questions. I'd just like to thank the applicant for working with the city and the residents in the area to mitigate the sound, as we've received several complaints over the past year.
Okay. Chris?
No questions.
Don?
No questions.
Fred?
No questions at this time.
Okay. Chauncey?
I do have a question for the applicant. So my question is, so we have an idea of what the reduction of noise will be, 10 to 15 decibels. I guess my question is, what is it now and what will it end up being with the wall up?
As far as what that measurement is now, it's hard to say. It probably varies from time to time. But the sound isn't measured that way, where the sound wall will cut that in half, basically for the perception of what your ear is hearing. So a 10 to 15 reduction is your ear perceives an 8 as being half of what the original sound was. So at a 10 to 15, you're more than doubling the sound reduction from lessening the sound.
Could you please repeat? I'm trying to
So
understand.
a 10 to 15 reduction in decibels. Your ear hears a perception of 8, a -8, as half of the original sound. So a 10 to 15 is double that. So you're reducing the amount of sound by more than half.
Oh, okay. And so I guess I'm still not understanding if the reduction would be better or enough for the residents that may have had complaints. That's what I'm trying to understand, the difference of where you are today versus where this would be with the sound wall.
I'm not a sound engineer, but like I said, it's going to be more than half of what it is currently. So your ear is going to perceive that as a huge reduction in the sound. Whether that is enough is up to the person that's perceiving that noise. So what you might find is disturbing might be not as disturbing for someone else. So all we can do is keep trying to reduce the decibels, and this is the best way to give you the biggest bang for the buck.
I have a question for you. How far were you away from the noise area when you took your readings? Was it 50 feet or to the border of your
As far as
property?
the original sound ratings, I don't know that we've ever taken actual sound, the actual decibels that are coming out. It's because the wall absorbs half of those decibels. It really doesn't matter. It could be a large amount of sound or a small amount of sound. The absorption is what is the important factor here, and we're absorbing half of that or more.
What I'm getting at is how far were the neighbors away?
They're 210 feet, I believe, if you look at the plan view. The next slide down, the one with the angle.
I mean,
They're well over 200 feet.
Were any readings taken at that point where the neighbors were or their property line?
No, not that I know of. We haven't taken any readings.
You just stayed onto your property when you made the measurements?
Again, we didn't take readings. What we're doing is absorbing the sound. We didn't take, it doesn't really matter what the decibel amount is. We are putting something in place that's absorbing that decibel.
Understand that you still get some sound noise away from your facility.
That's why they're putting that, yeah. So
They're doing this.
little bit of history of this. So the neighbors to the west in Oakview complained of sound in it.
Understand that. I'm just saying that you'd like to know what the level is at that neighbor level.
I don't know if levels were ever taken. The company complied to try to quiet the equipment. And when they found out they couldn't, they worked with the city, come up with the barrier. They're well within setback on it. Now, to be fair, you know, we've heard from one neighbor, to memory, it's been a while, but not like every neighbor complained either. So the company, was forthright in trying to correct the issue for the neighbor with this sound barrier. So whether decimal readings were ever taken at the 200-foot range from what it's basically cooling equipment, I think, is what's there, chillers. Whether it was taken, and again, I'm not a sound engineer, so I don't know what the decimal range is, where it is standing next to it or where it is standing at the property line. But the company decided to take action because whatever repairs they put into it wasn't satisfying the neighbor. So I don't know, Matt. Did you work with a sound engineer on it?
No, we did not.
Okay.
I think it was, we'll take the neighbor's word for it that it's disruptive. We'll try to correct it.
Just that we're trying to satisfy the neighbors on the sound level.
Correct, and I think this is a good step forward because they could have got an engineer out, and if it met specs, they could have said, we're not putting anything up.
Can I jump in and try to put some perspective? Todd, I'm not sure if there is some kind of decibel code or not. It doesn't sound like there is. So to me, this is just a good faith effort, and an expensive one at that, just to reduce the noise. And with these chillers, I've been around a lot of chillers, and outdoor chillers and compressors. There really is limited things you can do. This is definitely the most common one are these sound barriers. They're pretty effective in my opinion because I've been around them. And when you reduce that sound, it also reduces the length it's going to carry. I bet this is going to do the trick in my opinion. But I don't think they're here to meet any kind of decibel thing. They're here to just
Right. This
try to
wasn't-
reduce the sound, and as simple as that, correct?
Correct. This wasn't a requirement from the city. This was a concern from a neighbor and the effort of this property owner to say, well, okay, well then we will do this. I'm not aware of there being, and he stated we don't have decibel readings because it wasn't really disputed. It was just, it's a
Well,
noise.
and it's also low frequency sound is
Right.
where you're getting those compressors or that low hum is that's usually the most traveling sound, and that's not particularly a high decibel sound, but it's a low frequency sound that tends to go further than even a high frequency sound decibel wise. And this panel system is designed to absorb those low frequency at the underside of the chillers and up on all the way. Obviously it's 12 feet high, so it's the tops of the chillers are about 6. So this is going to absorb an enormous amount of vibration sound, low frequency sound coming off of those machines.
Thank you.
Again, my 8th grade science taught me that sound waves go like this, and they're going to put up a 12-foot wall. These walls will be 12 foot high. Sound coming off those units, and those units probably stand 3 to 4 feet high, tops. They're going to hit that wall first, have to go through the 5 inches of fiberglass and what have you, and then as Don said, it should diminish the sound greatly, I think, going forward.
Correct.
So a description of the walls were put up. Todd, can you just throw up that sketch one more time? That's a pretty good rendering of what it would look like. So if you can picture it, those units are probably 1, 2, 3 panels high. So the noise coming off would literally have to go up into the air or through the wall 5 inches. Again, they're designed with fiberglass to absorb it. Not a sound engineer, I have to believe this would help.
It should greatly reduce the amount of perceived sound coming off of those units.
Are any of the neighbors here want to comment on it? Come on up, ma'am. No, you can't speak from the floor. You have to come up. I know it's intimidating, but we need your name and address for the record. That's okay. Come on up.
I'm just wondering how long this is.
Name and address,
Oh,
please.
Maria Malechko, 431 West Oakwood Road.
Yep.
Wondering how long this will take and when it will start.
Good question. And you know what? We'll bring that applicant. Never wander far. Good question.
So it takes, upon your approval and then getting the permit, but we'll submit for engineering basically this week. And at that point, it takes 10 to 12 weeks to get the material. And then it'll probably take about 2 weeks to get the material turned up. Now,
Months.
materials have been showing up.
August, so that-
Yeah.
Materials have been showing up a little bit earlier, but safely to say.
But again, you know, be fair. She was one of the neighbors, and might have been others. It's been a while. And we've been working with the applicant. I'm glad to see that. You know, I know they did go out there, put some servicing into the units, obviously. So I do think this will be a nice solution for everybody living to the west. Hopefully. Okay. Anything further? And
Just
yeah,
one
one more.
additional
Yep,
thing.
go ahead.
For the record, would you like the applicant to give his name and address?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss that? I'm really off my game lately.
David Beaver, 10545 West Lakeland Avenue, New Berlin.
Thank you for that, Coach. Thank you, sir. Okay, is there any further discussion, questions? Seeing none, motion?
Oldani moves, make sure I got the right one here, sorry. Yeah. Oldani moves that the Plan Commission approves the site and architectural plans for construction of a sound-absorbing barrier wall system at MG Foods, an existing business located at 10303 South Oakview Parkway, with the following conditions. 1, that all relevant code requirements remain in effect. 2, that all revised plans are submitted in digital format for review and approval by the Department of Community Development prior to the submission of permit applications.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call, beginning with Matt.
Sullivan, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Oldani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Vouch aye.
Okay. Good luck, and hopefully this does the trick and takes care of everybody. Thank you. Gets us to item 5, and it is site plan and architectural review. Review site, building, and related plans for the construction of a new multifamily residential building to be located at 2348, 2389 West Colonial Woods Drive, submitted by Jeff Heinler. Home Path Financial Partnership, multiple tax keys, which I am not going to read. Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes. So this is, as you mentioned, Colonial Woods, an existing multifamily residential development, which is off of 27th Street and between that and South Orchard Way. You can see from the aerial that some of the buildings have been built, and then you can see the photo taken from the corner of South Orchard Way showing the existing open space where the building is proposed. But a little background, back in 2006, this Colonial Woods was rezoned. There was a PUD and site plan all approved for this development, which was to include 5 duplexes. All of those have been built, 8 3-unit buildings. Those have all been built, and then 4 16-unit buildings. And only one of those have been built, the building 13 there to the far west. So the applicant is proposing to build building number 5, as I mentioned, which again will be 16 dwelling units. 12 of those will be 2 bedrooms with 2 bath, and 4 of those will be a 2-bedroom, 2 bath, and 1 den. They're providing for 30 parking spaces in a lower level garage beneath the building, which would have access off of South Orchard Way. They're also proposing 9 surface parking lots to the west of the building that would have access off of West Colonial Drive. There's also a existing sidewalk in place for pedestrian access to the building. The architecture of the building is to match the other buildings within this development, traditional architecture with the red brick, meeting the PUD had said that they had to have at least 65% of the facade be brick, which you certainly have met. Cream City colored fiber cement siding as well for the most of the upper, and kind of breaking up on the front facade, breaking up the brick. The upper units in the front will also have balconies. As you can see, like I said, it's traditional with a gabled roof. And again, this is architecture is consistent with the existing building, so it would fit in. And just to show again, this is the elevations from the west and east. The east elevation being that facing South Orchard Way, so you can see the garage there that would come off and access that lower level parking. For landscaping, they're providing 5 shade trees along the frontage along West Colonial Drive, and foundation area landscaping as well, consisting of shrubs. They're meeting all the requirements for multifamily for landscaping on site. As far as lighting goes, it will all be wall-mounted fixtures, 26 in total. The majority, or 25 of them, are going to be the very architectural, directed downward lantern type light, and then they'll have one more like a flush mount type of light that's going to be over the garage opening. But all the lights meet the requirements for color, temperature, and being directed downward. If the applicant's here for questions, otherwise we have the suggested motion.
Okay, thank you, Todd. This time, would the applicant like to take questions, or just any explanation of anything, or just wait on questions? Name and address, sir?
Chris Howe with Quorum Architects, 3112 West Highland Boulevard. We're here as a proxy for the owner, HomePath Financial. I also have Sam with Dufek Construction here to answer any questions that you may have.
Great, thank you. Before we get started, I know there's residents. Are there any residents that have questions or would wish to speak? We'll try to write the questions down and get them answered accordingly. So if anybody'd like to speak, I welcome you now to approach the podium, and we'll need your name and address.
Hi there. My name Amy Peterselli, address 111 East Kilbourne Ave, Suite 1700, Milwaukee, with the firm Kamen and Cusimano on behalf of Colonial Woods Home Owners Association. The board and the unit owners heard of this entire issue was last week. So the land that, one of the words that wasn't included in the slides was that there's already an established condominium association. In order to deviate from the plats that are recorded regarding the expansion land that was discussed, unit owner approval is needed because it requires an amendment to the association's declaration. In addition to that, the association has put into place restrictions on rentals, and what's being proposed here is to have this entire building be just rentals in lieu of the condo ownership. The HPF indicated that the reasoning was due to market analysis. With my legal knowledge, I did a quick Zillow search of units within Oak Creek going for 200, 300K, found 2. One was just a vacant lot, so I think that the market is there for these units, and so do my clients. So we have our own suggested motion that this be tabled for at least 2 weeks. My client has been trying to reach out to Jeff Kleiner and has been unable to get a hold of him to discuss this proposition. In addition to that, the association has indicated that they'd be open to helping in the event that HPF feels that They may have trouble selling off the units. If they need to lease a few for a little bit, that's fine. But having the entire building designated as rentals is something that needs to be brought to the association and hasn't yet. So we would request that there be a 2-week table of this.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wishing to speak? Well, you're all welcome to speak. This isn't a public hearing, but I do allow it. It will be up to this commission as to which way they want to go. Okay? Name and address, please.
Maria, 2540 West Colonial Woods. I'm one of the homeowners.
Last name as well.
Oh, Wen Engenar, Engenar. So I'm one of the homeowners at Colonial Woods right now, and I'm also a board member. I guess it's kind of hard. We can't ask them the question, but I just wanted to let you know that we've been trying to get contact with them for just the construction work that they just recently done. We cannot get a hold of anyone. Like, there is no responses on emails, no updates on what's going on. Neither that, there's things that are unfinished and damaged that they never took care of. I guess, you can speak, there's other homeowners here that can actually speak on, like, the rental units that are around us have, like, caused so much destruction in the area, just like littering, not caring. That's just something that we just, as a homeowner, you don't want in your area. Not just that, the land that they're trying to build on, they haven't taken care of. They have not mowed. Actually, the city had to come and mow it. So, like, we don't even know how to contact the people to tell them, like, hey, if you're trying to build on it, you're not even, we shouldn't get the bill to have Blue Mills mow the lawn. It's not really a partnership when you don't talk to the association, kind of like a disrespect in a way. So I would hope you all just table this because this affects a lot of us, and this is only a portion of us. So, thank you.
Thank you. Come on up, miss. Name and address, please.
I am Cynthia Shadow at 2575 West Colonial Woods Drive. So I'm in the condo association. I'm on the board. I've been on the board for just over 2 years, and we've been trying to work with HomePath Financial to deal with the buildings that they've already built. So they've already built, the developer had apparently gone out of, they had gone bankrupt, and so there were some of our association is due 3 more 16-family buildings, and so HomePath Financial just said, we're watching the market. They already built 5 side by side, so they've built 10 units thus far. That occurred before I was on the board, and it's been a real nightmare to deal with them. We had to have a subcommittee to try and get the road complete. They've not been in good faith partners with us. I've got a whole list that I had sent to our attorneys about, how the things that we would need in writing with them. I just feel like it was a really dirty move to send out this notice last week that they're going to build the 16-family without telling the board. Like I said, I've been on the board for just over 2 years, and this was completely new to me that they were building the 16-family, and then for the notice not even to say that they were going to make it into rentals. Like, absolutely, we want these 3 16-family buildings. We want the association complete. We get good money from the association dues to keep up our property because we're owners and we really care about the quality of our property. So we absolutely want these buildings done, but we want them to be better partners with us. And it's just not fair that then one of our board members actually goes to the Oak Creek website and sees the full agenda. I understand, you can't send out the 26-page agenda, but and we were trying to figure out, why does this even need to go in front of the board or in front of the commission? Well, because you're wanting to take one of our condos and make them into rentals. We have rules, we have bylaws about rentals, and this doesn't fit in with our rules. So we would hope to, like our lawyer said, to table this, and because we want them to work with us.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else before? Come on up, sir.
Altin Jergo, 2610 West Colonial Woods. I'm shocked that the developer is gonna just do rental there. We already screw up with both sides, that they got like apartments and the other one. Everything, they walk the dogs to our properties, they don't pick up. It's just getting messed up there. We do have the circle, the pond there. They walk the dogs and everything is not picking up. So there is an issue with with the rental property. So when I bought that condo in 2008, I didn't expect to be like this. It's just our association is going up to every year, $30, $30, $30. It's so much to do in that Colonial Woods. I don't know, but things need to be changed there. So I don't want to get any rentals there. So that's my concern.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Mike Stone at 2570 West Colonial Woods Drive. One other thing that hasn't been said tonight is Colonial Woods Drive from the circle is a private road that we as owners are responsible for. And I see nothing in anything presented tonight that they're going to cover damages or anything like that. That needs to be addressed. And to back up to what I think Cynthia referred to is you would think you build 5 new side-by-sides, you would go in there and finish that road and curbs. There's curbs that they damaged when they built them in front of a unit, I think Mike's unit, if I'm not mistaken, that has not been fixed. All they did was throw some dirt over a rut. Again, they're not commuting, excuse me, I ramble. They're not communicating in good faith. If they would do that, maybe there would be a little leniency. Right now, I can't see leniency here with them. We work hard to keep it up with what we got with our dues. Again, that is a private road that we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars 9 years ago to put new curbs, speed bumps, the whole 9 yards. It comes out of our pocket to maintain, not the city of Oak Creek or anybody else. It comes out of our pocket. That needs to be addressed with them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Michael Maddock, 2200 West Colonial Woods Circle. I'm in the actual circle where the side-by-side duplex were built. And I can just verify that those roads were not taken care of. We were reassured verbally, nothing in writing, that those roads were going to be taken care and finished once all the buildings were done. I've been there 2 years. I think it's recently been finished over a year to all the units. But to date, I have to look out my patio window at broken curbs and undone roads. Very unsightly. I should be taken care of, and I have no faith in Home Path. So that's just how I feel.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else before I go to commission?
I'm Donna Saban, and I live at 2130 West Colonial Woods Circle. And I'm going to piggyback on what the folks ahead of me have said. I was misled when I bought my condo in that street, the circle, I live in the circle, that would be completed once all of the construction was done. I was the 4th homeowner in that circle, and now the 10 have been completed almost a year ago. They've all been purchased, and we are just being ignored from Home Path and what was Stepping Stone. We were supposed to be, as Cynthia and Marie said before me, we were notified last week meaning we weren't notified until Thursday of this meeting today. They are supposed to keep up with us quarterly, keep communication open. They don't answer emails or phone calls. We have no faith in these folks, and now they come up and against our plan documents that call for all owners, that's what I based my ownership on. That section is all owners, and they're coming in and proposing leased folks to come in is against everything in our plan documents. So I hope you consider that. And I think 2 weeks, we need more than 2 weeks. I can't see this getting resolved in 2 weeks. So I would propose 3 months. That may mean nothing to you folks, but this is not an issue that's just going to be resolved and go away overnight. They don't communicate. So our hands are tied. They did, going back to the circle, I was reassured that that circle, the street would be completed. They did put in the sidewalks. They put in the center of the circle, the landscaping, and the curbs around there, but have completely ignored us about the streets. And now they come up with a building that they want leasers in. No, we're not going to accept it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. No one else wishing to speak, I will take it to the commission. Before we go to the commission, I just want to make the commission aware I do have personal interest at Colonial Woods, as I have family in the complex. So I will be abstaining on it. I will express views, but if needed, I will not be voting tonight on it if a vote is done. Okay? No, we're going to go to the commission first, sir, and then we'll come back for the questions as I wrote them down, or I tried to. Thank you. Let's start. Which way? That way. Let's go with Commissioner Chandler.
Okay, I do have a question for the applicant.
Sir, it'd be you.
Before you ask your question, I am going to state that we're the architect, not the developer. So I don't know that I can necessarily answer your question. So any question that you have would be whether or not architectural related. So unfortunately, HomePath is not here. So, but I'll try to entertain your question.
Real quick, just when you first were up there, you said you were representing just the architecture group?
Correct.
Only?
Yes, I'm not here.
Both
we
of you?
have construction and architecture. We do not have anybody from HomePath. They chose not to attend this meeting, so I can't answer those questions that
Understood.
the condo association has. So this is the first time hearing of this.
There's no representative here for HomePath Financial?
Not that I'm aware of, unless they.
And your friend is not speaking for HomePath Financial?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm sorry, Chauncey, I just want to make sure, so I know what questions asked when it gets my turn.
I don't want to. Yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
I'm Sam Swan, 1078 Baxter Street. I'm with Dufek Construction. We are a construction manager related with this project. We are not related with the construction of any other projects on this site.
All right.
So we'd act as construction manager.
As far as the business side and the questions at hand, you're not speaking for HomePath Financial?
I can't do that.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Sorry, you can't speak from the audience. You just have to wait. Okay. Chauncey, you have the floor.
Yes, my questions are all-inclusive, so it would be specifically for the applicant.
Or
So,
HomePath.
yeah. Questions such as why the change to a rental building and others that are related to that, so that I could have a better understanding to that one. Questions. Oh, I do have something. So the way with this new building, are there any for parking? I didn't notice any, and I may have missed it, ADA compliant parking for this particular building?
Yes, there is accessible parking on the exterior, and there's also accessible parking in the lower level striped for ADA accessibility. I think you can see on the site plan, there's a accessible stall to the southwest, and then there's a accessible path into the units.
Okay, and then from a, I guess, construction perspective, based on some of the feedback with the residents, so would you be taking care of these other road issues that were brought up?
I can't speak for that.
So
This
that's
is,
outside
this
of that.
is just kind of a little bit of a background here. This was originally developed, I believe, by Heartland Development, Bob Patch. I think the PUD was put into place in 2006, so almost 20 years ago. All the building footprints were identified in that plan unit development. At some point, I think that that property went into foreclosure. I'm not quite certain how long HomePath Financial has owned these sites. So they are trying to finish out the PUD with the footprints and all the requirements that were in the plan unit development. So this is basically continuing that 16 unit with the same architectural requirements for as the plan unit development identified, and working within the plan unit development, because that's very specific on what can be developed on the site. So from that perspective, we comply with the PUD. I think we've, shared information with Todd. There's been some additional information that he's requested. What I'm hearing, it's a question of, condo versus apartment, which I can't respond to, and then a question of communication between the homeowners or the condo association and the developer. So I just wanted to put that background into place, that this planning development is locked into what buildings can be built on the site at this time, the way it reads.
Okay. No additional construction questions?
Thank you. Fred?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the developer and the condo association, the condo association, that it looks like there was no agreement with the condo association and the developer that this was going to become a rental unit compared to condo type situation. I'm just a little concerned about that. So I do still have questions. It's too bad that the original developer was not here tonight.
Well, I think the original developer would be Heartland Development, and they have no vested interest in this property anymore, so it'd be the current developer, which would be My Home Path.
It seems so that there's no coordination between the two groups of people. And something is being put in there not everybody agrees on. That's my only concern. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Don?
All right, I got several questions. Todd, I'm going to put you to work a little bit here. Most of these questions are going to either be for you, and then I have some comments. I don't know if at this point I'm going to even have any questions for you. Number one, when in 2006, was there any kind of agreement in the condo association at that time that said, as far as leasing, not leasing, anything like that?
We don't have record of what was in that association agreement.
All right. Next question, and maybe one of the residents might have to come back up here. It was a little hard to follow what they built, who's leaving the messes, where exactly there's unfinished road work done. I think they were talking about that end cul-de-sac where those buildings are.
Just for some background,
Yeah.
maybe this will help. I was the alderman back in 2008. This this particular PDU condo project had been approved and it was ready being built. It's in progress. And then the housing market kind of came and crashed. So he never, Todd, if you go back to that whole picture of the cul-de-sac and the whole thing, he basically finished building 13, 2, 3, and 4. That's the original developer, Heartland, I guess, mentioned. The clubhouse never became. This unit 12, the one you see, building 12, the footings got dug. And then he stopped. And basically, they flooded because we had heavy rains. The entire basement flooded. It was an underground parking. And it actually flooded the basement of Unit 13 when I was the city actually had to fill in that footing exists.
Who was the developer then?
It was Heartland, and they went under. So what happened with the remaining property, how it got split up, I don't recall ever a CSM splitting it, but must have, I guess. Was there a CSM recorded to split these properties?
I mean, there was a CSM, yes, that originally created these properties.
No, between Home Pathways and the condo association.
That I'd have to look at.
So there again, I don't know how the title went. I don't know if the homeowners association owned the whole thing, and he was supposed to finish his back cul-de-sac as well. So fast forward a number of years, and I guess the Home Pathways came along. They built those 5 units on the cul-de-sac, and many of the commissioners were when that happened. Again, it was PDU set out to be condos, and condo association has their own bylaws on rental percentages and what have you. City typically doesn't get involved in that. As the one gentleman stated, Colonial Woods is a private road. And it was a private road until it didn't have public access, so to speak, until we put Orchard Way through it. So in essence, it's been connected, but yet the homeowners association is responsible for the road and the upkeep.
But the cul-de-sac road, is that also private? Or is that the cul-de-sac or the new
Cul-de-sac
5?
road is also private.
Okay, so for the same association responsible for that? And the owners, so these are also condos, these 5, and so these 5, is there any residents here? I'm not asking a question, I'm just curious. Anyone here? No. So also paying into the condo association for those roads. Okay, and what isn't done on these exactly? There's broken curbs, correct? I heard?
The developer never finished the road.
Never finished?
They never finished the
Okay.
road like they were supposed to.
Same developer that wants to build this building?
Correct.
Okay.
And we've been trying to get a hold of them to finish basically what they've left. It's just a mess of, so that whole area is just all broken concrete.
So the mess that everyone was referring to, not cleaned up, not picking up after themselves, we're talking about Home Path Financial, the
Correct.
Okay.
Side, and well, because we're saying stepping stones too, because they were
Okay.
builders.
Understood.
Yeah, so basically just not doing the rest of the way around the circle.
Okay.
Left undone. So then all the sidewalk, then the landscaping and everything too, everything was a mess. And that site where they're trying to build the new 16 was just never mowed and anything. They just left it unkept. And then we actually got a notification. The city sent people to come mow it. Because otherwise we would have to use our own money out of the budget to get it taken care of. And that's just, we don't know when we would ever get that money back.
Okay. Well, since Home Path's not here to defend themselves, as from now, I'll have to take your word for it. Back to Todd. I'm not a condo member or anything, so I don't know and I'm hoping we can at some point maybe get somebody in here to explain what the obligations are of the apartment builder versus the condo association, and if there's some legal, as I heard that maybe they got some legal representation, you do, and I would like to have that hammered out. In my opinion, I can't possibly agree to something where there's all these possible legalities hanging out there. And anybody who watches these knows that I've been on it a while now. One of my pet peeves is when somebody puts in a application and then doesn't show up for their own hearing, and especially if they know there is all this, animosity and questions that they're not answering. So, it's really tough for me to support this, at least right now. A lot of questions that can't even be answered right now. Were they invited, I'm assuming? I don't know how that works when they put in they're invited. Did they respond that they weren't going to be here?
They didn't respond, but they were notified of the meeting by email.
They
and
didn't even say we're not going to be there?
They didn't say that they were not coming, no. We mailed them the agenda and also sent an email
poor.
to them.
Yeah, right now, I mean, just without having all these questions answered. So, and Dan can correct me, or Todd, what we have is we had a suggestion from the floor, although the motions can't come from the floor on this, to table it, that is, or the motion can be read as is, and then we vote on it. There's two different, I guess, consequences for the applicant at that point. When something like this happens, when it's a possible table, we kind of all tell our opinion on should we make a motion to table it. It's up to us, and I'm like hearing Carrie's voice in my head
Keep
right
in
now.
mind, there's a difference between a hold and a table. Table, it's done.
I think you're correct. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I on? So Todd, just correct me if I'm wrong. If they motion to table it, it doesn't come back. If they motion it to hold, it can come back at a later date.
And yes. Getting nods for Matt, but yes.
So by the agenda, there's a suggested motion, okay? And the accepted motion is to approve it. If this body decides they don't want to, the motion would go out affirmatively to approve it, and if a no vote resulted, it would go away and come back possibly another time. They could also move to hold it to a different date, 2 weeks, 6 months, whatever that date may be. If they table it, believe it is done, and they have to start their entire process.
I think
Just
a
to be
no
clear.
vote and a table, you get the same result.
No. You'd have to come to the microphone, ma'am, or sir. So, but Don, you're right, I mean, that's kind of the motion. You can pull the microphone down for her. Todd, can you assist?
Thanks. Hi, Joanne Stone, 2570 West Colonial Woods Drive. Beyond the fact that there's unhappiness about communication and stuff like that, that's separate from not wanting to have apartments in a condominium association. That's the biggest thing that we're trying to not have happen. I just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Don, you still have the, oh yes, go ahead.
Mike Stone, 2570. I encourage you back up what Donna said. This get tabled. 3 months, 6 months, whatever. Even you said it possible. Give us more than 4 days' notice. None of us did this on Thursday. About it, and we're trying to put this on. Come fight for what we believe in, what we think is right. We need more notice than 4 days.
Thank you, sir. Don, you still got the floor.
So I agree. There's two things going on here. One's the relationship, and one is the apartments and the leasing proper in this case. That's what we aim to find out. And a lot of that will be hashed out, I think, when it comes to what the city and everything allows to be there, as far as the use, which was said, like the usage is proper. But what I want to know, what it comes down to, even if you had a great relationship with these people, we want to know, is everything being done properly here? Can they do this? Where does the agreement come in, and where does it end? And there's just way too many questions with this. I think, yes, they are technically separate, but neither one can be answered right now, I guess, until we have all this in front of us. So just to clarify, you said to hold it until a few months. To table it. That would be a hold, where we say we hold it, we make a motion to hold, we pick a time right here, so you wouldn't even need that notice. You would know when we would hold it until, because we're going to tell you today when that will be. Yeah, you'll know the date. Or we can table it. I don't think we've ever tabled anything, hold, or it can go to a vote. And if it's a vote's no, it dies.
Well, keep in mind, the applicant can go to the
reapply.
common council.
Right, the applicant at that point would.
We are a recommending body.
Yeah,
We're not the
okay.
final word, the council.
I don't know, did they hear that? Did everyone hear that?
So,
Well, for
just
site plan, you are approval. Because this is a site plan, it wouldn't go to the common council, but
yeah,
they could come back and apply again.
yeah, they could. Either way. Yes, sir.
Question. So my understanding is that the Plan Commission should be reviewing the drawings based on its compliance with the plan unit development. Is that a fair statement? I'm barring all the other discussion about the condo association.
Correct.
It's not, I agree, this is me personally, that some work needs to be done between My Home Path and the condo association and the owners. But I would argue that our plans comply with the PUD as it's stated in the documents that we've been given from the city of Oak Creek. If it's tabled indefinitely and canceled, it would be canceling the PUD because this is compliant with the PUD. So I want to be careful that we don't get
Well, it'd
into
be
it.
canceling this project, it wouldn't cancel.
But the PUD states that there's a building shaped just like this going on that location. So I just want to be careful there, if you follow what I'm saying.
I follow what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you want to get into splitting hairs, it wouldn't comply because you don't, right here, from my perspective, you don't have a secondary access into this place. You got one-off orchard. Unless you have an easement or an MOU with the association to get on that private road, you can't get to the back of your place.
That's a fair statement. I'm just saying, I think I would ask that we give the developer an opportunity to meet with the stakeholders.
I would agree with you, and he should have been here.
I can't speak for him.
And I get peeved at this as well, as Commissioner O'Dani does.
I understand.
Unfortunately, you're the messenger.
I know,
I'm
I
not
understand.
here to shoot the message.
No,
out.
I appreciate
I'm just
that.
saying, there's a history, obviously, here with
Right,
the residents.
right.
And it's not sitting well.
I understand. Yep,
So-
thank you.
Okay. Don, you still have the floor.
Yep, so I hear you, I've heard that before, give them an opportunity to speak for themselves, they have, and on top of that, from what I'm hearing, they've, the board has reached out to them multiple times, and they're ghosting them. I'm assuming they're getting these emails, and phone calls and voicemails. So they've had an opportunity there, in my opinion, and I know their actions are going to affect you guys. I get that, but I'm not here for you guys. I'm here for them. They're not here. They're just not here. So again, I just want to give my opinion, and I want to hear the rest. We're going to move on to the other commissioners, but yeah, this is either, in my opinion, going to be a hold, or we do the motion, and I want to hear what everyone else has to say.
Chris?
I agree with everything that everyone's been saying so far. Especially, I'm concerned about the rental aspect of it. So that would be something I would be thinking about long and hard. So.
Yeah, Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. I do agree with a lot of the sentiment that's out there. We do have to keep in mind that the agenda item is architectural review. And not getting into the nuances of that, I would prefer that, or I would recommend that we hold the item because in the reality of it is, and it's unfortunate, and I feel for the people that are in the condos that aren't getting the respect that they should from the developer. The reality is, reality-wise, it's an architectural review. It's not a homeowners association review. That stuff needs to be discussed and taken care of, and that's why I would suggest we hold it to provide that opportunity. Whether, you know, there's some more discussion we need to have with our attorney, which I would say we have a little bit more discussion with our city attorney to make sure that the city is following, you know, our legal rights or things that we need to follow. And that's why I would recommend that we hold it at this time, and not go to a vote.
Thank you, Matt. Steve?
Yes, I mean, I used to be a president of association here in Oak Creek, so I can really see the frustrations and not get any response. I mean, I would actually be here as well if that was happening in my area. I'm disappointed that the applicant or the builder's not here. I guess I would recommend to go on hold too. I guess way too many questions to be answered to push this through.
Okay, thank you. I did jot questions down, but Matt is correct, as is the architect. This is an architectural agenda item. It weaves in other things, and I did call the city attorney to see how this worked, because the communication, I don't know what it's been with the city, quite frankly. I didn't learn about this project myself until about a week ago. I'm the mayor. So there's a lack of communication coming from somewhere on this. And there are questions. It is a deviation from what was originally planned there and what the city had envisioned. We do change from time to time. We get it. Conditions do change. With this, there is this 16-unit proposed. I don't know for fact, but I would imagine he probably has the south properties under contract as well, proposing probably 2 more 16 units, which would bring the total, if they remained rentaled, and we set a precedent of 48 rental units versus 47 home ownerships. So our city attorney, unfortunately, is unavailable and on vacation, but she did take time to speak briefly with me. I was going to investigate it more, but I agree. I think far more time is needed. It's very disappointing that we're having a one-sided conversation here, and the poor architect has to unfortunately stand up there and face unanswerable questions for things that are intertwined, but really not part of the agenda tonight. But more importantly, we want to try to get things right. I would agree with the commissioners to hold it. You know, and it can always come back where everybody's understanding exactly what the expectations are, what should be. Fred was looking at some things as well. Landscape-wise, understanding, is this going to meet the landscape needs? If it does go as it's proposed, who polices what? How does that road intertwine? There's just a lot going on here right now. And as I said, I have family and personal interests, so I will be abstaining from the vote. But you know, I do think it warrants further discussion. You know, the building itself, by what I've read and looked at, it looks like it complies pretty closely to what the original versions were, but I'm not going to waste any more time going into it right now. So, is there any other discussions, questions, comments?
Yeah, I do. Typically, Todd, after this step, and this does not go to council, what would come next after this?
Well, if it were approved,
If it were approved, yeah.
If it were approved, they would be able to apply for permits for building permits.
That's my only question.
I agree, put it on hold. We can't solve the problem tonight.
Well, I will call for a motion then.
Guzekowski makes a motion to put this on hold until, do we have a specific date?
I
How
would
long?
say at least 2 months.
2 months?
90 days.
I think they need a lot of time to work this out, in my opinion.
What do you?
How much time do they need?
Yeah.
Well, May 20th is 2 months from today. And that would be your second commission meeting on May.
Potentially by then. I mean, this would be a matter to hash out with our city attorneys to find out what.
I think at this point, if you put that date on there, that gives
May 20th.
ample amount of time for the developer to respond. And if he chooses not to, then it comes back here, and we go through our process.
May 28th. Guzekowski makes a motion to hold item number 5 for site and architectural review until May 20th, 2025.
Steve Balch, second.
Seconds. Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay. Roll call, Chris, beginning with you.
All righty. Guzekowski, aye.
Oldani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Balch, aye.
Sullivan, aye.
Gavich abstains. Okay, it will be held and go back. And again, it is disappointing, not only that the applicant wasn't here, but in many cases, when somebody's gonna build a project, it's common courtesy really to reach out to your neighbors, work as closely with them. We often get commercial or industrial developments, and they usually reach out to the neighbors and explain what's going on. So disappointed there. Thank you all for coming, but you're welcome to stay for the rest. It's going to be exciting just as much. So, item 6, it is review a request for a conditional use permit along with conditions and restrictions for a drive-through at Buena Beef Restaurant and Rainbow Cone Ice Cream Shop. Proposed businesses to be located 8767 South Howell. Submitted by Nathan Schmidt, Harwood Engineering Consultants. Todd.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, so this is a proposed business for South of Putes on South Howell, but at this point they are seeking a conditional use permit to allow for a drive-through for this restaurant. You can see that is the rendering that they have for the possible restaurant. The proposed drive-through, which is shown on their concept plan here, would consist of 2 lanes with 2 menu boards, have a bypass lane required by city code. The hours of operation would be Sunday through Thursday, 10:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m., and then Friday and Saturday from 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Drive-through would be open during those hours. They estimate about 400 customers per day, and that about 40% of the customers will be coming through the drive-throughs. So that's maybe up to 160 customers per day using that drive-through. And they estimate that the max number of cars in line at any given time would be 18. And then they also have, as you note on the site plan, in the front of the building, they have 4 spaces for customers to wait while they're waiting, or to queue or to park while they're waiting for their food to be prepared. Some of the key conditions and restrictions with the use, of course, that only the approved use here in accordance with the conditions and restrictions will be permitted, as well as any other uses that are acceptable or by city code. The drive-through shall be shall meet all drive-through accessory use standards as requirement of code. That the hours of operation will be as I stated before, and that maximum number of vehicles for the drive-through would not exceed 18 cars at any given time. The last meeting, I believe I went through the review criteria, so unless you would like me to go through this again, I do have them to look at if you'd like for a conditional use. But otherwise, I believe the applicant's here. And if you have any questions for them, otherwise the suggested motion is up on the screen.
Right. I'll invite the applicant up. Name and address, please.
Eric Peterson, Keystone Planning and Design, 7075 Veterans Parkway, Burr Ridge, Illinois, and have our civil engineer, Brad Siebert, here as well. Happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Oh, great. Thank you. Jossie, you want to start again?
Surely. I do have a question for the applicant as it relates to the driveway. So will there be any screening for the driveway for coverage for Howell Avenue?
Sorry, say that again. What, for screening where?
Off of Howell, the main road. So any landscape screening for
Correct,
the
yes.
driveway?
There'd be landscaping per code.
Okay.
So, yes, there'll be a fair amount of landscape
Yeah, and
there,
at this point,
that
too,
would be a part of the next detailed site plan review. Right now is just for the drive-through.
We will have a site plan review after, if they are approved for the conditional use. The next step would be a site plan review, and they will have to apply to all the codes for screening and landscaping.
Okay.
They'll have to comply to those.
Thank you.
Okay. Fred?
Are you moving into an existing building that's on that corner? Or are you
No,
building-
this is currently a vacant lot that we'd be building new.
Okay, so you're building a facility.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, Don?
No questions. I'm trying not to let my love for Italian beef kind of cloud my judgment here. But yeah, this is that area's been vacant for a while. I think it'll be a pretty good addition there. Everything seems pretty straightforward, so no questions at this time.
Chris?
This is in my district. I haven't gotten any calls for or against it, but I truly support it. Look forward to the nice new shiny building.
Matt?
I have no issues in regards to the drive-through as requested here.
Oh, Steve?
The question I got, I see it connects to the parking lot to the north. Does that need to get approval from that owner of that facility to be able to connect to their parking lot?
Yeah, and actually the two owners already have an agreement in place for that access.
Okay.
And then the owner to the north will be abandoning their access to Howell.
So they're all going to use this new entrance?
They're going to all be using the new entrance.
Okay. All right, no further questions?
Guess as long as I got the floor. On the drive-through side to the south, Todd, it meets the setbacks. Any easements that go in there that would prevent any landscaping to whichever business it's to the south? Not sure if it's the office building or.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in place that would prevent they have the yard setback there, which will have landscaping, and they'll be required to meet the required landscaping on that side. I'm not aware of anything that would be preventing them being able to do that.
And I know it's really focused on the drive-through, but can't help but get off subject. For the entranceway.
It's about the drive-through.
Thank you. I know. Just for the record, is there going to be a median there with a right out only and a right in only off?
I can speak to that for you. The TIA to the Department of Transportation, who has jurisdictional rights over the road right-of-way through here, and there is not one planned. Their TIA meets the level of service during their peak periods for a full access. There will be some improvements, which would be kind of shown there on the plan right there in front of you, where will be an extension of the median up to the driveway. There'll be some requirements in regards to not blocking certain driveways along with paint and hatching. If I understand the requirements by the department.
Okay, thank you. But as far as it goes, no, I don't really have issue with drive-through. It's pretty well spaced for queue and everything that goes on. Seems similar to the ones that other businesses are utilizing as well. Okay, there's no further discussions, comments, sir? Anything?
Appreciate everything you guys do, and hopefully we can get your Italian beef cravings taken care of.
Fix. If there's no further discussions or questions, we'll look for a motion on 6, please.
Seifert moves that the Plan Commission recommends that the Common Council approves a conditional use permit for a drive-through on the property at 8767 South Howell Avenue after a public hearing and subject to conditions and restrictions.
Guzekowski, a second.
Roll call, beginning with Don.
Oldani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Bouch, aye.
Sullivan, aye.
Gavich, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Okay. Item 7, review site and architectural plans for installation of roof-mounted solar panels at public storage. This is an existing building located, and existing business located at 9810 South 27th Street, submitted by Mario Martinez, Opal Energy Group LLC. Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you noted, this is a parcel that is right on the corner entry of the South Branch Industrial Park over there. And as you say, the proposal is a site modification that would be installing roof-mounted solar panels. The current business is public storage. And I have a photo of what it looks like from the northwest. However, they are proposing to place these panels on the east side of the structure, which is a gabled roof, and they are looking to put 37 panels on that roof, east roof. Each panel is roughly about 30 square feet. They're black with silver or aluminum kind of colored frames, and they're nearly flush mount with being just a little over 4 inches that they protrude from the roof. So you can see on the right is their rendering of what it'll look like. I have a photo on the left from that vantage from South Branch, and what you can see, there's quite a bit of landscaping as well there that it's difficult to catch a peek of it, plus you're kind of low there. If the applicant may be here for answer questions, otherwise this is just in motion on the screen.
Thank you, Todd. Applicant, would you like to say a few words? Okay, the applicant indicated that he'll wait on questions. So, Steve, you want to start us out?
No questions.
Matt?
I don't have any questions in regards to the applicant. I just remind the applicant to work with our inspection department if this is improved. This tends to be an issue as far as the mounting and making sure it gets done correctly. Thank you.
Matt. Chris?
No questions.
Don?
No questions.
Brad?
No questions.
Aussie?
No questions, thank you.
Okay. I actually do have a question. And again, I'm glad to see people are going with some clean, green alternatives. Is this going to help power some of the electricity you need within the storage units, or is this strictly a sellback to the energy?
So Joseph O'Keefe, Opal Energy Group, 50 Division Street, Suite 105, Somerville, New Jersey. It's, from what I believe, 100% offset for the entire facility.
Oh, for the entire facility?
Yes.
Wow, that's really admirable. Great. Okay, that's all I had. Great. I have no further questions. If there's no further questions or discussion, motion.
Guzekowski makes a motion that the plan commission approves the site and architectural plans for the installation of roof-mounted solar panels at public storage on existing businesses located at 9810 South 27th Street with the approved following conditions, that all relevant code requirements remain in effect.
Goldani seconds.
Roll call beginning with Fred.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Bouch, aye.
Sullivan, aye.
David Chai.
Guzekowski, aye.
Goldani, aye.
Okay, that will get us to adjournment. If there's no further business discussion, I'll look for a motion for adjournment.
Seifert moves for adjournment at 7:23.
Goldani seconds.
Roll call. Chauncey?
Chandler, aye.
Bouch, aye.
Sullivan, aye.
David Chai.
Guzekowski, aye.
Goldani, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Thank you, Commission. Appreciate it.